Good evening, darlings, and a very warm welcome to not many of you because I've been out and I only set this up a few minutes ago. I wasn't sure that I was going to make it, to be honest. Yes, so nobody's had any warning, although bloody hell, I do one every Monday. You'd think people would know. So there's not many people here. In fact, there is one. So this is going to be the easiest reading out of comments ever. I'm going to enjoy this. Good evening, Tracy. It's just you and me. And Tracy says, evening, Boaty, evening, chat. Looks like I'm first, and she's waved at me. So I'm waving back. And yeah, it's just the two of us. How easy is this going to be? Well, how are you? Oh, hello, Cheeseburger's here. Oh, well, now it's a threesome. Do you want to go first or second, Cheeseburger? And evening, Clarkson. Oh, God. Oh, hell. Hell's teeth. Well, I'm going to keep right on top of the comments tonight, aren't I? Oh, Tricia is with us, the lovely Tricia Alderman. Jolly good evening to you. A jolly good evening. A jolly good evening. A jolly good evening to you, to you. And now it is now it's a foursome. There's four of us. Well, this is cool, isn't it? We should have some drinks and nibbles. I had a craving for some scampi flavored fries about 40 minutes ago. Oh, I could just have done with that salty pseudo scampi-ish flavour. Oh, well, suit yourself, Cheeseburger. Go, you fussy bugger. So it's Monday night. We've got all the time in the world, so we can just chill out, relax, and have a nice time. Oh, well, I mean, Cheeseburger, looks like you're going first after you've taken your spanking like a man. Is it going to be a bare buttocks job, Trace, and over the knee? There's a subject that we get. Oh, no, we probably shouldn't, should we? I was going to say we could talk about spanking, but possibly slightly inappropriate and very likely to get this demonetized. Not that it's going to make a shed load of money anyway. On the subject of not making much money, I am about to, well, in the next few days or so, I'm about to get my first £10 video. My first video that's earned £10 purely in adverts. You know, not counting channel memberships or super chats or all of that sort of thing. Historical spanking chat. I wasn't aware we had much in the way of historical spanking chat. I suppose. Yeah, well, there's so much we could talk about that, and I daren't. I absolutely daren't. You lot can. John Stoodley is with us. That's nice. It's a very relaxed vibe tonight, isn't it? What do you mean, my colours? Oh, apologies. I got dressed in something of a hurry. Oh, is that where the name came from? Okay. Yeah, let's find out how John's doing. I'll just leave you guys to it. I'll just sit here and, well, I mean, I might not even speak. I'll just type in the comments. The beige bomb. Good evening, Barry. The beige bomber outfit. Yeah. I do like a camel jacket or a camel coat. I know it's a bit Arthur Daly-ish, but oh, what's wrong with Arthur Daly? Okay, feature number 2. Feature number 1 is spanking that you lot can talk about. I'm not going to say too much in case I get myself into trouble. Feature number 2, what else have you seen Arthur Daly in apart from Minder? And I'm going to go for the obvious one, which is St. Trinian's, when he played Flash Harry. And the reason I'm going for the obvious one is I can't think of any others, quite honestly. Oh, good. I'm so glad that you're satisfied now with my... Oh, hell, that's not done it properly either. Oh, dear. Good evening, Mr. Boaty. How are you? I'm terribly well, Barry. It's kind of you to ask. How are you, sir? George Cole was raised by Alistair Sim. He was in a great episode of The Sweeney. Oh, gosh, was he? He was in something about looking after Dad or something. Oh, of course, tomorrow's a big day, isn't it, John? Oh, you'll be grand, mate. You'll be grand. It's a CT scan, isn't it? Body and head. Oh, of course, Trace. You'll have missed this, won't you? Ugh. Oh, good evening, Joe. Good evening, Pingu, and good evening, Neil. Now, our friend Mark of the Mark on Motoring YouTube channel has posted on Facebook to say, last month I projected channel growth to put me at around 1,000 subscribers, and we all know how big a milestone that is, at the end of the year. A few days ago, I was around 30 subs short, but there seems to have been a bit of an influx since yesterday, he goes on, with the number of new subscribers being up by 550% on the previous week, taking the channel extremely close to the target. And he then says, if you like car shows and car reviews, feel free to follow the link to the channel and tap that subscribe button. But Mark is, at the time of posting, on 992 subscribers. So he's just about to tiptoe over the older monetization and channel partnership, YouTube partnership, channel level thing. No, I haven't. It's my own jacket, Neil. Oh, sorry to hear that, Ross. Bad start to your day. Now then, I thought we'd do some Facebook stuff. Now, I'm going to have to change the names to protect the innocent, or perhaps not so innocent. Now then, 12 hours ago, somebody that I'm friends with on Facebook, and I haven't got a clue who they are, not a Scooby, posted this, and I will change the names. Hiya, J.R. Ewing. I'm glad you're still okay. I'd got really worried since I hadn't heard from you or been able to get in touch with you for such a very, very long time. I thought you must have been really ill, or worse. As I know you're okay now, what's happening about the 500 quid I paid re your 50th holiday trip? I assume that's a 50th birthday rather than a 50th holiday trip consecutively. That was cancelled because of COVID. Seeing everyone going on holiday a lot lately, I wouldn't mind my refund now. Hope to hear from you soon. And again, I'll change the name, George. And the replies came. Would you like the replies as most relevant, or all comments sorted oldest to newest? Cheeseburger, the beige bummer. I'm going to give you the comments, all comments, oldest to newest. Now, Digbert Clump, not the real name, replied, "Not the place for this, Bob. Get this off bloody Facebook and PM her instead of trying to shame her name." To which, whatever I called the first one, replied, "I've been I've been trying to contact her in every way possible. She's ghosted me completely. What hurts most is that I really thought she was ill or worse. I was really worried about her. If she really needed the money, I would have said okay. But yes, I'm hurt too, knowing that I was only worth £500 to her." Wow, and there you are, you see. Still not the place for it. You tagged me in it and others when it's no one's business. So that's shaming her to folks she knows. She's my cousin, and I'm not going to let her get named and shamed on Facebook. Who's to say you're telling the truth? JR is not like that, and I will always have her back. Then somebody else came along and said, "Hey, lovely, try claiming back via the bank if you've done transfer. Hope you're all keeping well." And then somebody with a weird name said, in capital letters, it's all a bit shouty, "Why waste any of this on somebody called," oh, I can't tell you his name, can I? On so-and-so's Facebook. Have a bit of respect for him, please, and don't use his Facebook to be airing your dirty laundry. It's nothing to do with him, so don't use his page. To which the OP replied, "Well, he's probably got more chance of bumping into it than I have. The hotel he works at is one of her favourites." Maybe he has, but it's still nothing to do with him, and he would not get involved between anyone's disputes. So I think it's very unfair of you to even try by putting your private issues on his Facebook. It's not like he's even at the hotel now, as it's closed for the season. So he's not going to be bumping into it anytime soon. So please have a bit of respect for him and just delete your posts and find another way to deal with it. So that was exciting, wasn't it? But there is a follow-up post. Oh, God. I'm getting Clarkson left, right, and centre. Yeah, good luck for tomorrow, John. All the best. I've lost the plot here, says Thrace. So you asked for money of someone that you gave to them 4 years ago. No, someone else did. Who is who? Well, there are people on Facebook, Trace, that I'm apparently friends with one of them. But I've got no idea who they are. But they posted this yesterday and tagged a shed load of people in the post. So I found that quite interesting. So anyway, the follow-up post is as follows. And this was posted 7 hours ago, darlings. Well, looks like I've hit a nerve as Lady J.R. Ewing has now made herself invisible to me. You know what gets me most? If she really needed the money, I would have said, look, okay, if things are bad, don't worry about it. But no, I'm now ghosted. Someone I've known for over 15 years, who I'd always stuck up for. I'd always told people that when you lived down here, you were one of the most honest, loyal person I'd known. What happened when you moved back to Gallus Shields? Was it the thrill of getting your boobs done in Turkey? Did it spark off more work? Well, I hope the £500 plastic surgery facelift was worth losing a long-time friend over. It's nice to know that our friendship is only worth £500. Shame on you. And then there was another shed load of people all tagged into it. And the replies came in. Oh, and there was a screenshot of the original post. Right. Oh, should we go most relevant or all comments? Let's go all comments. So, give it a bloody rest. That's my bloody cousin you're slagging off. What's saying you're telling the truth? So you have tagged all her family to publicly embarrass her, and we have to take your word for it. Anyway, you go your Winnie work. What's wrong? Have they docked your benefits? And are you trying to con money out of name removed? No mention of you stealing out of her house, though. So it's getting interesting, isn't it? £500 for a facelift and new boobs. Who was the surgeon? Yeah, good question. So she got turkey tits, Ace cheeseburger, apparently so. And the reply came, now you're making things up just for the sake of it. I would never steal anything from anyone. And you know nothing about me or my situation, so jog on. Do you want the bank transfers I made then for the holiday? I can easily do that. She could easily have rung or messaged any time over this time and said, can we have a chat about the holiday? Instead of completely ghosting me. So I'm not allowed to be hurt after what she's done. As soon as I say anything, you make up lies just because I dared to call her out after all this time. I know you all stick together regardless of the truth. You're welcome to each other. Ooh. I'm going by what I've been told, so I'll be jogging nowhere. Why wait all of this time considering you're unemployed? No many folk would wait nearly 3 years for that amount. And as for tagging all her family, you're right, we do all stick together. And we don't believe she hasn't paid you back. I know you were booked to go, same as I was, and we were all refunded. So why would you not be? You could have PM'd me to get in touch, not publicise it. I've been trying to get in touch with her for a very, very long time. Even tried to send messages to somebody else over a year ago. She's completely ghosted me on every media going. I really thought at first she was really ill or worse. I was really worried about her. More fool me. Take this down. It's disgusting. It's slander. And I'd say, due to its slanderous comments, a police matter. Take it down right now. This is not a forum to air your business, and shame on you. How can it be slander if it's true? And then there are screenshots of messages. You okay? I don't know you. Why have you tagged me in this? Sincere apologies. I've tagged you by mistake. I'm so sorry. Okay. And that brings you up to speed on that situation. But I will, of course, keep you fully updated as to the £500 and the allegedly slanderous comments, and so on and so on and so on. I will certainly be watching it with great interest. I've ticked the little box that gives me notifications when the post is updated and when new comments are added. So as soon as I know, you will too. What have I seen, Arthur Dalian? Normally a car, says Paul Smortion. Oh, freeze your wine. Yes, good shout. A little bit early, Trace. Give it another 15 minutes. Good evening, one and all, says Mike Prasad. Out of interest, is donating memberships no longer a thing? Well, it's still a thing. It's just that nobody's done it for ages. And my memberships have plummeted to spectacularly low levels. I mean, they're still more than I deserve, given the appalling nature of the channel and the content therein. But to the best of my knowledge, it's still a possible thing. It's just, well, actually, I say nobody's done it. Somebody donated one, last week, wasn't it? I think it was earlier last week. But my channel memberships have gone down to, I did have 54, I think. And now I have, let's have a look. I don't want you. Oh, God. I forgot I did that. Bear with. It's this dual factor notification thingy. Two-step verification, that's what it's called. Oh, dear. Yes, it really is me. Thank you. So if I go to, hang on, where's it? That's not right. Where's that gone? Oh, it's there, isn't it? Memberships. 31. Down 34%. Loads of cancellations. Hey ho. There we are. Oh, now I've got to get back to this, haven't I? God, it's so complicated. Press play. Right, that's it, I think. Oh, John has gifted a membership and it's gone to Pingu Concord. Well, that's very kind of you, John. Well, that's confirmed that it is, in fact, working. So that's really kind of you. Oh, what's going on now? Oh, God, the two-stage verification thing came up on there. Am I still going? Can you see me? Can you hear me? So how does one donate memberships? I'm drunk. I'm ahead of you, says Carlos Fandango, super wide wheels. Ah. Have you ordered your new passport yet, Boaty? No, Pingu. P.S. Which nom de plume will you be using? I'll be using my real name, except that I asked about this only last night. And apparently to renew your passport is like 100 quid. So don't think that's going to be happening. I think Joe said it was £98.50 or something because, yeah, because last night I was talking about Malta in January and whether it is going to be viable, and the upshot is it's not going to be viable. So, but it's not written off. It's just going to be postponed. Hopefully, if I have a decent year next year, then I can do it the year after. So, sod off, cheeseburger. Have you missed comments or am I lagging behind or something? I might have missed some. Hold on, let me go back and have a look. Diddly do, £500, new boobs, turkey tits, Arthur Daly, Boaty's bedroom arguments, freeze your wine, donating memberships, Boaty's bedtime blowies. Yeah, I did think that, Trace. It's libel, as it's a written word. Yeah. Oh, Jimmy Quinn is here. Good evening, Boaty and everyone. Then the very kindly gifted membership from the lovely John. Pingu was the excellent recipient. Cheeseburger wanted to know how to cancel his membership. Sod. Oh, bless you, Pingu. And that was when I buggered up the doings. So let's have another look on Facebook, see if anything else exciting is happening. Somebody's selling a 5-litre supercharged Range Rover. Adults marital arts. Oh, martial arts. Oh, right. Mark and Dolly in Ghent, and Ghent is spelt wrongly. Is anyone interested in my 2004 4.4 V8 ULEZ free before I put it on eBay? The sills are lovely. Oh, that's nice. A bloody Christmas advert. Comfort, joy, time together, the most cherished gift of them all. I quite like underpants. Another Christmas advert. Rover 75 for sale. A Renault Master that's almost been converted and hasn't quite. Ah, here we are. My philosophy is What people say about me is none of my business. I am who I am, and I do what I do. I expect nothing and I accept everything, and that makes life easier. We live in a world where funerals are more important than the deceased, marriage is more important than love, looks are more important than the soul. We live in a packaging culture that despises content. Oh, that's cheerful, isn't it? I was hoping for another argument. Oh, my Nepali friends are having a party to which I was invited and which I didn't go because I can't. God Almighty, you need to be rich to go to a Nepali party. Ah, no wonder they all bloody work so hard. Everything's so expensive. Ah, you don't need a passport. Just go across the channel in a dinghy and you get a free trip to Rwanda. We should chip in to get his passport renewed. It's only 80 quid. That way he'll sod off. How has your day been, Jason? Asks Joe. Are you sorting out Stigbert tyres tomorrow? Well, that is a very good question, actually. I did take Stigbert down to John's Tyres in Chesterfield to try and get a part-worn tyre fitted. Now, the plan was, this gets a little bit complicated, right? So bear with me. At the moment, Stigbert has gone. Right, when Stigbert bumped into the curb, then that ruined two tyres and one wheel. The other wheel is, as far as I'm aware, still usable. Both of the tyres are ripped to shreds, obviously. So at the moment, Stigbert has got the two wheels that weren't damaged on the front and the two wheels very kindly lent by the lovely Liz on the back. Now, the tyres on the front, one is okay, fine. The other one is, it's going to be illegal very, very, very soon. It needs imminent replacement. So I know I needed two new tyres on the back, but I thought, well, I'll put a part worn on the front because the other one's okay. And then I'll swap the back to the front so that the two new tyres go on the front. Anyway, cut a long story short, there wasn't a part worn available. And I realised that in my good tyre on the front, um, I've I've got a bit of a slow puncture. And you know what really annoys me? Right, if you go on to loads of, and I know you shouldn't be a grammar Nazi, and I know people are dyslexic, and I know all of that, and I know I shouldn't get annoyed by it, but you can go onto a million Facebook groups, and people will say that the car they're selling has got a puncher, a puncher, a puncher, puncher, rather than a puncture. And I just find that annoying, especially if, and I know I shouldn't find it annoying. I know it's not a big deal. We all know what they mean. And, in this day and age, correct spelling doesn't matter. But the rest of their spelling is perfectly okay. So they're not dyslexic. If somebody's dyslexic, they're dyslexic. And, you can't do anything about that. But at least they're consistently dyslexic. And I I actually find dyslexic people when they write. I mean, I would really hope that anybody who's dyslexic wouldn't be put off communicating in writing. I hope that they've never been like grammar shamed by the grammar Nazis or anything like that, and actually put off writing because that would be very, very unfair. I actually really enjoy reading it because it's more interesting than looking at prose that is spelled correctly with correct grammar. And I rather enjoy that. But for some reason, puncher rather than puncture does annoy me slightly. And I'm probably a lesser human being for that. But at least I'm being honest with you. And that's worth something, isn't it? Anyway, the point is that I've got a slow puncture, I think, in my good front tyre. And I couldn't find a part. John down at John's Tyres didn't have a part one. And I thought, oh God, this is all going to be grief. So I thought, sod it. I will just order 4 new tyres and put 4 new tyres on. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, hang on, I thought you were poor. How can you afford 4 brand new tyres? Well, the truth is, of course, I can't. But good old National Tyres, despite the fact that they're owned by Halfords, they do whatever they call it, payment assist. I mean, it's the never, basically. It's the equivalent of the, what's it name, man, the Provi man or whatever he was called. You buy, you get a Christmas hamper at Christmas, and then a man comes around your door and collects 37p every week for the next 52 weeks up until next Christmas. And if you haven't got that 37p, then when he comes around, you turn all the lights off and hide behind the settee and tell the kids they've got to be quiet. Ah, I remember those days, darlings. But I thought, yeah, I'll just order 4. I thought I'll try and order 4 because, as some of you will know who watched last night's live stream, my computer broke. Didn't break. It hasn't worked properly for about 4 years. And it just worked even less properly now, to the point where it effectively doesn't work at all. And I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, and then I went onto a browser to check out something or other and I found that Sky were offering on a Black Friday deal on a 36-month contract a MacBook Air M1 for 19 quid a month and a £2 upfront payment. And I thought, well, I'm doing a little bit better than I have done previously. I'm kind of starting to clamber back to a point where I could actually get my head above water. But the point is, I thought I could afford 19 quid a month. And the reason I want a computer is there are some things you can't do on iPad. And one of those things is merch. Yeah, I mean, you know how the merch thing works. And I thought, well, if I had a computer that actually works, I can do merch. That's the reason I haven't done any merch, by the way. I keep saying I'll do it, and I keep trying to do it, but every time I try and do it, the computer won't start, or it'll start and it'll freeze, or it'll just crash, or it'll just have a hissy fit and turn itself completely off and do also. I mean, it's a very, very, very old computer, and it's a Windows computer, so they're pants anyway. The day after you buy them, they're crap. So I thought, well, 19 quid a month, happy days. I can afford that. I'm sure I can. And I can justify it because, hopefully if I do my stuff, I could make 19 quid a month from flogging shoddy merch to you lot. Mustard and Boaty, pottering pedestrians since 2022. So I filled in all of the doings. And I kind of thought I might be okay. I mean, I know I've got rubbish credit because of all of the, going back to the bit, not immediately post-divorce, but the bit after I had the accident and everything went to fuck, and I was trying to live on benefits and this, that, and the other. So, my credit is ripped apart. I know that. So I'm not going to do anything daft like apply for a loan or a credit card or anything like that. But I have got a mobile phone contract. So I thought, should be all right with this. Filled out all of the doings to order one of these wonderful things. Checked it all. I mean, it's actually a good deal. 19 quid a month over 36 months is 600 and something pounds. And the cheapest I can see to actually buy one outright is 799 pounds. So it's a good deal. I mean, it's super duper cheap. I thought, brilliant. Filled out all of the doings, thought I'd be okay. But no, your application has been denied. Sod off. It didn't actually say sod off, but it felt as if it said sod off. So then I'm coming back from John's Tyres today, and I'm thinking I'll just order 4 tyres and do it on the old never never. And then I suddenly had a panic, and I thought, shit, I didn't get the what's it for the computer doings. I'll probably fail this as well. What am I going to do? Um, I can't get part ones. There's no way on God's earth I can afford to buy 3 new tyres, let alone 4. Not a chance in sodding hell. Um, oh, um, so I came back, had a look, went onto the website, had a look. It worked out as 20 quid down, 20 quid a month. So I thought, oh, well, nothing dentured, nothing gained. Filled out all the doings, hit the button, and it was fine. It was fine. So I paid my 20 quid. A splendid chap from Sheffield is coming on Friday morning to fit 4 new tyres to Stigbutt. Oh God, between 8:30 and 1. So I'm going to have to bloody wake up early again and be prepared to haul my ass out of bed at daft o'clock in the morning. And then it's going to get a little bit complicated because I need, what do I need? Right, so I've got 2 decent tyres on the car, 2 decent wheels, tyres under, forget Liz's wheels, they've got to go. They've got to go back to Liz next Monday. So the other 2 wheels that are on the car that are okay, they need to have 2 new tyres on, but I need those, but they're on the front. And oh, actually, I don't need to move to the back now, do I? Not if I'm having 4. So ignore that bit. And then I've got to use one of the damaged wheels but that I think is okay, and my spare wheel, which fortunately is a full size one. And have the other 2 new tyres put on those, and that will free up Liz's wheels to go back to Liz next Monday with her lovely Avon Turbo Speed tyres on. Oh, I've looked at those very covetously. Maybe one day I'll be able to afford tyres like that. And it just means I'm not going to have a spare wheel, basically. So unless I can persuade the guy or bribe him, I don't know if he'd be allowed to do this or if he'd be prepared to do it. But the one decent tyre that I've got that's now going to be coming off, which has potentially got a slow puncture, I wonder if he would be willing to put that on the wheel that's too badly damaged really to go on the car, but might not be so badly damaged that the tyre wouldn't hold air. And then at least I'd have a spare for an emergency. But that was a very long answer to a very short question, isn't it? So, yeah, Stigbutt will have 4 new tyres on Friday morning. So that's something. And that'll be quite exciting, won't it? Ready for his trip to North Wales at the beginning of next month. Now, let's go back to some comments. Oh, right, I've answered that one. How has your day been? Other than that was the tyres. Other than that, my day's been okay. I've been out. Yeah, I went out mid-afternoon, met up, ended up, well, whatever. Popped in the casino on the way home and didn't stay because I've covered this in the daily diary. Massive disappointment. I wasn't going in to gamble. Obviously, I can't afford that. But I was going in to catch up with a load of old friends. As you know, over the years, I used that place like a local pub for many, many years. I was in there 5 nights a week, and I've got a lot of friends there. Except, I mean, I haven't been there for a year, over a year. And I went in, didn't know anybody. And I don't mean customers. My friends were all of the croupiers, the dealers. Didn't know a single person, not a dealer, not a pit boss, nobody. So I had a wander around and thought, well, I'll go home. So I did. And that is probably going to be the last time that I ever go to that casino. And I'm really quite sad about that because it's another memory. It's something that played a big part in my life. And it's quite sad. But if I can't afford to gamble and I've got no friends in there, why would I go there? So I won't. And also, I think Sheffield has got a ULEZ thing, and of course, I don't go into bloody cities, do I? Or I try not to. So I don't know if I'm going to get hit with some sort of congestion charge because I've been right through the centre of Sheffield tonight. I met Cindy. I met the person in question on, well, sort of in the city centre, and then I whizzed across to the casino on my way home. So I might have picked up some sort of charge or something. You never know. But there we are. And then I came in. There you go. Where are we? Okay. Carlos Fandango's super wide wheels and cheeseburger are planning to send me as far away as possible. It's either OnlyFans or GoFundMe. The latter would be more successful. I feel a Boaty's bath time coming on again soon. Oh, God, I haven't done one of those for a while, have I tried a GoFundMe to send him away, says Pingu Concord, but nobody donated. Better off sending direct to Boaty's PayPal account, which is Boaty. Oh, it's jsph@btopenworld.com. Although I do feel very awkward about this whole thing. I feel very awkward about being poor and being publicly poor. Maybe we should talk about that, because I make flippant remarks to being poor, and I make them flippantly because, well, because it's quite flippant. But then in another way, it kind of isn't. I can't remember how much I've actually told you about the reality of it, but the reality is that, you know, after the divorce, you know that I was on my uppers, but I was okay. I was working at Sainsbury's, which was just something just to get me out of the house and get me active when I was married. I didn't need to do it. After the divorce, obviously having sod all, I did need to do it. But fortunately, I was very good at what I did. And I'm a hard worker by nature. I've always had a good work ethic. So even though it wasn't a terribly well paid job, I was willing to do stupid hours, illegal hours. And because we were always short staffed, Sainsbury's were willing to allow me to work illegal hours, despite the fact that it was a driving job. So, well, illegal is illegal, I suppose, isn't it? So I was just banging in 9,600-hour weeks, week after week after week, and I was doing okay. I was doing okay. All of my bills were kept up with. On top of, I obviously at that point I was renting privately, and I got paid from Saint Bob's. I paid everything off, paid all of my bills when I got paid, and whatever I had left just had to last until whenever. I didn't have any other income sources. Oh, apart from flogging a few bits on eBay. But I was doing okay. But then I had the accident, didn't I? And that kind of changed everything. And then Dad died. Mum had already gone at that point, but then Dad went. And I couldn't work. I was a bit crippled, obviously. And then, as you know, I got Sainsbury's sacked me and whatnot. And there was just quite a long period of time where I was absolutely, I mean, I wasn't just skint, I wasn't on my uppers. I was, God, I was living so far below the poverty line, it was untrue. And that's taken quite a lot of getting back from. And obviously, during that time, I accrued a hell of a lot of debt, and so on and so forth, and so fifth and so sixth. And yeah, So it's just been so yeah. So I joke about being skint, but the joke is that I'm not joking. I just don't take it too seriously. Well, I do take it seriously, but I don't. I don't constantly lose sleep and worry about it because it is what it is, you know. Um, and very slowly, things are starting to, with one thing and another. Things are very, very slowly starting to, I don't know, how can I put it? I'm like a deep sea diver that's been right down on the seabed, and I'm starting to get back towards the surface and head above water situation. But I'm not there yet, not by a long chalk. Uh, and it is a slow process, but hopefully things are going in the right direction. You know, couple of bob coming in from here, couple of bob coming in from there, that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm certainly not in a situation where I can think about, no matter how much you want me to go away, I'm not in a situation where I can think about having a holiday. I mean, a 34.99 night in the Travelodge in Rill plus petrol, that's pushing it, in all honesty. So anyway, there we are. That's all. Did you like my comments last night? I did, John. I didn't reply to you. I didn't have time. Sorry. Oh, yes, post motion. I know. Chester drawers. Yeah, Chester drawers. That's another one, isn't it? I hate slow punches. uh, oh, member for 2 months. Who was that? Oh, there's no name. It just says member for 2 months. Oh, it was Mark Prasad, wasn't it? I think. I think I saw it flash up. Thank you very much. Tires from National Tires, jacket from Great Universal. Oi, cheeseburger. This is this jacket dates back to when I wasn't poor. This is a Brook Taverner. Thank you very much. I'm very fond of Brook Taverner. They're my number one favourite jackety type thing. Oh, Great Universal was one of those catalogues, wasn't it? Where when your mum wasn't there, you'd go through it and you'd go to the lingerie pages, and if you looked really carefully, then there would be at least one picture. There was always one picture where you could see a bit of nipple, and then there was another picture where you could see a bit of pube. That was in the days when women had pubes, of course. Very, oh, it's, don't get me started on that. Cheeseburger says, I rang Vodafone today and not Carol. They're offering 33% off Apple product. Yeah, but they don't do Apple laptops, Cheesy. If they did, I would have gone to them first because obviously I appear to be okay with Vodafone. But yeah, they do iPhones, they do iPads, but when it comes to laptops, they don't do Apple. They don't do MacBooks. They only do Android. And obviously, it makes much more sense for me to have a MacBook because everything else is on Apple and it will all sync in together. Oh, excuse me. I still can't work out how to donate a membership. Is it because I'm watching on an iPad? Yes, yes, Mark, it will be. You can do it on an iPad, but if you're using the app, then you can't do it. You have to be on a browser. So you can still do it on an iPad, but you need to be watching YouTube on Safari on your internet browser, not on the YouTube app. The YouTube app has limited functionality. And one of the functionalities that it can't function is any of the membership doings. So you'd have to open Safari, your browser. I presume you use Safari. That's default on an iPad. And then you'd have to log into YouTube, and then you would be able to do it. Steve W says, does the stream keep going a little bit red in hue for anyone else? It does for me. And I think the reason for that is that if you remember, you are on my elderly iPhone X, which, as we know, the microphone thing is a bit broken, which is why we're using an external microphone, and also so I'm not shouting so much, so next door doesn't get upset. But it's also got a cracked screen, and I can see it's going red as I'm looking at it now. I can see it keeps going a bit red, and I assume it's something to do with the cracked screen. But fear not. The iPhone X, despite being slightly broken, is performing better than the elderly iPhone 6, which is retired back into its box and is in the drawer upstairs in my little officey bit. But next October, when I get a new phone, and that's only 11 short months away, darlings, then all of the phones will trickle down one. So the new phone that I get next October will be the filming phone, which is currently, oh God, it's hard work. So this is currently my filming phone. I have it in a case. It has a screen protector on it. And this is my most recent phone. It's an iPhone 13. That's the one I'm filming on. You all know how happy I am with it. It's so much better. The picture's amazing, blah, 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 blah. Now, when I get a new one next October, the new one will be the filming phone, which means that this one, the 13, will become this one. This is my phone. It's the phone in a proper case that I use as an actual phone, and occasionally also film stuff on. So next October, this will become this. And that means that this, of course, my iPhone 11, which is in perfect condition and should remain in perfect condition, this will become that. So next October, this will become the live stream phone, because that doesn't move now. It's just there permanently on Sonia, my small but perfectly formed tripod. And it makes life so much easier not having to faff about with it, doing this, that, or the other. And quite frankly, the iPhone X is no good for anything else anyway. So next October, you will not have the red hue. Next October, this will be the live stream doings, and everything will be wonderful and splendid. And so, I mean, the content will still be shit, but the picture and the sound will be wonderful. And that means that next October, which is only 11 short months away, I won't need to use the external microphone. I can go back to using a normal microphone. And that means that certainly if the neighbor is away or it's a little bit of an earlier live stream, I can go back to having the music on the speaker and all of that sort of thing. So there we are. Trey says, to be serious about dyslexia, I'm married to a dyslexic. And I find that dyslexic people usually take more care about trying to get their words and meaning correct, especially in this age of autocorrect. And Trace also says, yes, it's the cam stroke connection. Also keeps freezing for me, and I can't watch in high resolution, so it's blurry. I know a closet homosexual dyslexic. He's still in. I know a closet homosexual dyslexic. He's still in Daniel now. That's actually funny. John says, buy your new MacBook and tires using the Capital One credit card you're pre-approved for. I was pre-approved with a Capital One credit card for 200 quid, John. So it's certainly not going to buy tires and a bloody MacBook. My credit is to shit. But the fact that I have actually been pre-approved for a card, albeit the worst, most highest interest, most low credit limit card, that's still progress. So at least that shows that I'm going in the right direction, and I've got things in. Excuse me. Oh dear, Neil. I've got things in place with gas and electricity and water, so yeah, so hopefully we'll get there. Have you tried doing finance on Apple website for a MacBook? That's no, I'd have no chance, Joe. I'd have absolutely no chance. That's they finance through Barclays. It's like a proper thing. I'd have more chance of flying the moon backwards. Pingu is making use of the channel member only emojis. Not all credit agencies record all details, says Cheeseburger. Equifax are the most lenient. The trick is working out what is registered at what agency and which agency the lender uses. I can help with this. Brilliant news about Stick Button is tyres, says Joe. It is, or it will be, once I've dealt with getting my. Oh, I forgot to freeze my wine. Oh, God. Oh, an hour has gone. How has that happened? Right, let me just rinse my mouth to get the taste of Vimto out of it. I got a new MacBook, says Paul Smortion. I got it from McDougall's bookshop on the high street. Carlos Fandango Super Wide Wheel says, seriously, I'll get you the deal and you can pay me £19 a month, for goodness sake. Oh, God. You know what? If anybody genuinely offered to do that, I'd take them up on it. I did ask Ram if he would do it, for me, but he doesn't want to have 36 months worth of contract. He did explain why. I didn't really understand it, but he's trying to keep all of that sort of thing away, because he's busy buying up buy-to-let properties, and when they go through the mortgage things, all of these things show up and they cause complications. So bless him, he did say, look, I've got to go out and buy one for my son anyway. He said, I'll buy you one and just pay me back at £100 a month. Which was really kind of him, but I can't afford £100 a month. I just can't. Whereas 19 quid a month, I most definitely could. I mean, £100 a month is like a proper chunk of money. 19 quid a month is, like £4 a week. Well, I mean, that's easy, isn't it? £4 a week, that's a piece of pudding. I mean, that's a tip, basically. But if you can't get it, you can't get it. It's a shame. I was getting really excited about the idea of doing some merch. I still want to do it in an ironic way, get some piss-taking stuff up there. But, I would genuinely like to do merch, and I've genuinely tried to do it. You can't do it on an iPad. It's just impossible. Some of you will probably know. Some of you might have even done it yourself. But you set up this shop thing, which is tied to your YouTube account. And the idea is you design the merch. But the designer is like a browser thing, and trying to do it on an iPad where you haven't got a mouse and you haven't got a key, it's just impossible. You need to be on a computer to do it. That's the reason why Mustard hasn't done it as well, because he hasn't got a working computer. And he hasn't even got an iPad. Doing it on a phone would be utterly, utterly impossible. So for those of you who actually want some shoddy merchandise, and to those of you who've been kind enough to suggest ideas for shoddy merchandise, well, that's the reason why it hasn't happened. Still on the good stuff, darlings. £5.44 a bottle. Ah, I hear you crying. No wonder you're poor. £5.44 on a bottle of wine every night. Yeah, well. Life is short. You got to have some pleasures. It's not like I go down the pub and do 100 quid in booze every night, is it? Oh, Mark, bless you. Mark has, well, let's jump forward because Mark has figured out how to do it on his iPad, and he has gifted five channel memberships, which have gone to Paul Smortion, Carlos Fandango, Super Wide Wheels, richplanet.net, Chaz Brown, and Rob, the lovely Rob. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's really, really kind of you, Mark. Thank you very much indeed. I'm genuinely really grateful for that. Lovely to have some more members as well. That's really nice. I'll start coming up with some new ideas for some channel member only stuff. Well, or at least I was going to do a live stream actually. I was going to do a lunchtime live, and I was going to do that for channel members when it's live, and then just open it up to everybody afterwards, because I don't want anybody missing out. But I do want to do some more stuff for channel members, so that, you know, show a bit of appreciation. Oh, that's nice. Carlos says cheeseburger. Make sure you document it, otherwise you'll have to chase him via Facebook. Yeah, and somebody else will be doing a live stream saying, "Oi, Boaty, that bastard Boaty. I'm paying £19 a month and he's completely ghosted me." I'd stand no chance of hiding, would I? I'd stand that. Everybody knows where I live. I'd have the futurals round there doing debt collecting. Oh dear. You, Les? No, I'm straight, thank you. God. Boaty's been cheating on Barbie with Cindy. Personally, says Mark, I think Patreon memberships would be a great thing for your channel. Oh, okay. Maybe I should look into that. I don't really know all that much about it. I know other people do it. I don't know what's involved, or maybe I should have a look. Trey says, Boaty should have frozen his wine 20 minutes ago when I first said it. He said it was 15 minutes too early, but he's not going to see this comment until about 11:15. Yeah, well, 11:04. You weren't far enough. I hope he hasn't cross-contaminated the pottering lube. Small steps are better than nothing, mate. Keep going. Yeah, exactly. Let's see you button the jacket up, Boaty. I can't button mine up. Oh, God, I probably can't either. Oh, I mean, I've had this jacket quite a long time. Let me just suck my stomach in. There you go. I can't talk, and I can't let my stomach out. The buttons will pop. There you go. Just about do it. And I shouldn't have done that one up, because a gentleman never buttons the lowest button on his jacket. in the same way that a gentleman never wears slip-on shoes or a clip-on bow tie. I don't like Mary Hinges, says Barry. Doesn't she know Mike Hunt, says Paul Smotion. Sorry, says Neil. Sorry all, had to dip off for a second. What have I missed? I see he's still got his swingers jacket on. Yeah, thanks for the picture you sent by messenger there. Neil, it'll be a smoking jacket if we set fire to him. I would love. I'd love a smoking jacket actually. Have you seen Fred the Shed yet, Boaty asked Pingu? Right, I made a cock up. I'm a very, very stupid man. So I had the idea last night that I would. Now, I hadn't seen the video because it's members only and I wasn't a member. Neil very kindly sent me a super chat to cover the membership. I became a channel member of Mustards again today, thanks to Neil. And I thought I'll watch the video, but I'll do a commentary on it and put it out as a video of my own. It'll be funny. I've never seen the car before. It'll be funny. So, thinking I'm being clever, I've set the video up, got the video ready to go. I'm doing screen recording on my iPad. I'm sitting here. This happened lunchtime today. So I've got screen record going, video going, and then I'm filming it on the iPhone X on that, and I've got the microphone here. So I'm watching it, I'm commenting, and stupid, thick idiot that I am. For some reason, it didn't occur to me. I'm thinking it'll be fine. I've got the recording on the iPad, then I've got my voice being recorded by the microphone, and then I'll just, in the edit suite, and I did a countdown and everything to sync them, 3, 2, 1, sync, so that I could sync the two tracks exactly together. Idiot that I am, of course. Didn't occur to me. How can I be this thick? It didn't occur to me that this microphone would pick up all of the YouTube stuff as well as just my voice. Stupid, stupid, stupid. So yeah, I have seen Fred the Shed. And the video that should have gone out tonight, which was a commentary reaction video to a Mustard video, is completely unusable because I am as thick as two short planks, basically. But yeah, I have seen it, Pingu, and it is an absolute raving shed. No question about that. I mean, it's horrendous. And Mustard is so happy. He's like a dog with two dicks because it's so bad and he can get it. I haven't got time for this, but I'll make time for it because it's really, really awful. He annoys me sometimes, does Mustard. And I hope Mustard's having a lovely day today. And I think he's staying overnight after this family event. And I hope that goes okay. And I really, really, really hope that he doesn't miss his girls too much because he's gone down on his own. So if he's doing an overnight, which he said he was, then he's actually going to be away from his missus and his girls tonight. And I know he won't like that at all. My bet is that he'll, at the last minute, he'll say, sod it, I'm going home. And it won't matter how late it is. He'll just drive home. That's the sort of thing that I always used to do. Yeah, it is, John. It really is. Yeah, so back to Fred the Shed. Fred the Shed really is a howling munter of a car. An absolute howling munter. Now, all of the outside stuff, I don't care too much about. I can cope with that. It's the inside stuff that I'm the opposite to Mustard. If you want to see the difference between me and Mustard when it comes to cars anyway, look at Nigel. Now, all of the effort that Mustard's put into the external elements of Nigel and the cleaning and the polishing, and I mean, you know, Nigel is beautiful, but inside it's still a shed. Knackered roof lining, speaker covers missing, broken trim, things missing here, things missing there. See, now I can't cope with that. I can cope with the outside being imperfect, but I can't cope with the inside being compromised to that degree. God's sake. Back in a minute. Right, sorry about that. So, in oh, thank you, John, and I'll pass it on to everybody else. I mean, we're all going to be with you in spirit, mate. So, if that helps at all, then you know, I mean, obviously, you're going to be. How can I put it? You're not going to be alone in spirit. We're all going to be there, kind of with you, and we'll all be waiting for you when it's all done, and we'll all be here tomorrow night for you to. All your mates will be around you. We'll cheer you up, and hopefully, John, it's going to be a productive thing. Get to the bottom of it, get to the bottom of the course, get it sorted so that you're not living in fear, which is no way to be going on, is it? But yeah, Fred the Shed, I mean, in many ways, perfect company car. I mean, in terms of an actual car, it's a Tourer. It's diesel automatic. It's got lots of nice toys. It's incredibly comfortable. It's the perfect road trip, car collection, car delivery tool. It's got a tow bar, so brilliant for the caravan. So in all those ways, it's brilliant. It's a Rover. It's a Rover that neither of us own. I haven't got one any longer. Obviously, Henny is now a smashing Pistons car. But also, it's perfect because it's like the ultimate representation of what we're trying to do. We're trying to save Rovers. We're trying to say and show that Rovers are deserving of love, that they are, that they're an asset worth loving and improving and whatnot. Sorry, I've got a series of burps that I'm trying to quell, not entirely successfully. So the fact that it's an absolute howling shed in some ways is brilliant. And it'll be brilliant content for Mustard. And no doubt he will improve it. But I know him. He's going to start on the outside. And fuck the outside. It needs to start on the inside. It needs a bloody headlining for a start. God. I mean, that headlining is awful. And I remember that... I remember hubby's car. What's it called? George. Betty. When he drove that in New Zealand or Australia or whatever it was, I think it was New Zealand, wasn't it? I think that didn't have headlining in. At the time, he codged it or something, and he said it was all awful and echoey, and it looks so terrible. And if Mustard had his way, that car would end up being concours on the outside, and it still wouldn't have a pissing headlining. It's terrifyingly filthy, but before my ass goes anywhere near it, Mustard will have all of that cleaned. I mean, he does do a proper cleaning job, does Mustard. He'll even take the seats out to do it properly. So, I mean, it's such a shed, isn't it? But look at it in the other way. It's a car that's going to be saved, and a car that's going to get a little bit of internet fame and some jolly good use, and it will be appreciated. Neither Mustard nor I like the 75 particularly. It's no accident that I had two and I sold them both. But like Mustard, the one that we dislike the least is the Tourer. Now, the MGZT is a different thing. Stigbert is in pole position out there. I love Stigbert to bits. But he's very different to the 75. There's a lot about the 75 that I can't be doing with. But the Tourer is actually quite cool. And this is a better spec 75 than either of mine. Now, mine, Henny was a pre-facelift car, but she was a connoisseur, not a connoisseur SE. So she had electric heated seats, but without the memory option. She didn't have cruise control or anything. Now, Sir Arnold Robinson was a connoisseur SE, but he was a facelift. And in facelift, the connoisseur SE lost some of the toys that were standard pre-facelift. So Fred the Shed is a pre-facelift connoisseur SE. So he's got electric heated memory seats, which means that we can do a skit that we wanted to do way back over a year ago when Mustard and Boaty Do Cars were first started. We had a whole skit planned over who had position one on the memory seat, whether it was Mustard or me. Well, we can actually do that now. We can have the argument about whose position gets stored in memory position number one on the old electric car seat. And it's got cruise control. And I would argue that cruise control is more important now than it ever has been. I mean, it was a bit of a whim, if you like, back in the day. When in the days of speed cameras, it's a really useful thing, because if you're going down an average speed or whatever, even when it's a 70, now all of the gantries have got cameras on and they're all activated. It's so easy just to set your cruise control to a couple of miles an hour below the speed limit or whatever, and just sit and waft. I love cruise control. The only car I've got it on my personal fleet is Sir Richard and Lady Morris. So it'll be all right in the long term, but I'm dreading it in the short term. And God knows it. Oh, that got to get a headlining sorted for it. And Mustard just won't do it. Mustard will accept anything on the inside of the car. It doesn't seem to cross his radar, whereas he notices every single. I mean, like I say, Nigel is the perfect example of that. If a little pinprick of a scratch appears on Nigel, Mustard will notice it and immediately lose sleep. But he's perfectly happy having a Bedouin tent dangling around his lug holes and the airbag light on and stereo not working and this, that, and the bloody other. Whereas for me, it's, you see the outside of the car now and then. You see the inside of the car all the time that you're driving it. Oh, priorities, eh? I hope he doesn't wear that jacket next month at the hotel, says Neil. Well, I might do now just to annoy you. I thought his nose was red because he was back on the vodka, says Cheeseburger. Oh, that'll never happen. Oh, that'll never happen. One of the best things I ever did was to give up the hard booze. And I can't remember who it was. It might have been Michael Caine, actually. But I remember reading that somebody said that they were desperate to sort their booze situation out before they became a full-blown alcoholic and had to avoid even sherry trifle because it would kick them off on a bender. And they realized that social drinking was more important to them than getting absolutely blasted. And I kind of felt the same way. So I knocked the vodka on the head before I had to knock all booze on the head because I had too much of a problem, and just settled for a bottle of wine instead. And so much better. Saves money. No more. Oh God, some of the nights on the vodka were horrendous. Struggling to get up the stairs because oh dear, and actual memory lapses when I mean, vodka is insidious stuff. It goes down too easily, and you just get too drunk. You don't mean to get that drunk, but you do, and it's scary. And then it affects your whole next day. You start getting paranoid, and you have this, that, and the other. And I've felt so much better since I just, reined it in a bit. So the vodka days will never. I mean, I do miss a vodka and tonic. I just don't miss lashing it down. And about 2 years ago, I think it was, I wanted to test myself. I'd given up the vodka for about 3 years, something like that. And to test myself, I bought a half bottle of Grey Goose, my favorite vodka in the world, and I put it on the booze stand just to see where I was at, to see if having had a bottle of wine, whether I would just then down half a bottle of vodka, which is the sort of thing that I would have done in the past, to be quite honest. I mean, if we'd gone out and had dinner or something, and I wasn't driving, and I put a bottle of wine away, I'd still get wedded into the vodka when I got home. So I bought a half bottle of my very favourite and put it on the booze stand in there, to see if where I was at, with it, see where the addiction was, and see if I would just immediately go for it. And it sat there for about a year or 18 months, didn't get touched until one night when, for whatever reason, I was too poor to afford a bottle of wine. And so I thought, right, well, vodka it is then. And I didn't really enjoy it very much. I enjoyed the first one. And then after that, it was I didn't even finish the half bottle, whereas before half a bottle of vodka wouldn't have touched the sides. So I would quite, and that was ages ago now. That was years ago, 2 years ago, something like that. And I've not bought any vodka since. There has been the odd occasion where, or there could be the odd occasion where I think, well, a vodka and tonic would actually be jolly nice. Like when we had a drink at work for Diwali, I had a glass of Chablis. We've got a really good Chablis on the wine list at work. So when they were all insisting that I had a drink at work with them for Diwali, I had a glass of Chablis. Next time, I'll have a vodka and tonic. And I will really enjoy it. But yeah, the days of going back to mainlining it never happened. Never happened. I should have done it years before. It's lovely. I mean, I love booze. I love good old father booze, and I love the feeling of relaxation and the feeling of slight. I emphasize the slight whatever the word is. Oh, disinhibition. That's the word I was struggling for. And I love the fact that it helps you sleep and you go to bed all lovely and relaxed, but you're not so drunk that you're saying stuff that you don't mean or doing stuff that you don't remember. And that's when you were really caning it, like I used to back in the day. It's a revelation to have that, and it's a revelation to wake up in the morning clear-headed. So anyway, when in real, seek a frill. I thought that said trill for a moment. If he wasn't so tall, he'd look like Del Boy, said Cheeseburger. Pingu, you can't buy a Cindy in real. Shouldn't have said her name, should I? Oh dear. Oh God, Cheesy. He looks like Rodney when Del gets him the camel skin jacket. Live title, Rodney, you plonker. Screenshotted that. Jimmy Quinn says, Boaty's more like Boise cheeseburger. Well, there was a time, I don't own it anymore, and I don't know where it went to. I spent quite a large amount of money many years ago on an Aquascutum double Crombie overcoat. And I spent a lot of money on that, and I was so proud of it. But of course, that was when I had the car dealership, and that was when Only Fools was kind of at its height. And everybody just called me Boise, so I stopped wearing it. I probably gave it away to somebody or to a charity shop or something. I love this one. Don't care if it makes me look like Boise. Shut up, you tart. Marlene. Oh well, I'm going to be out. I'm going to be out on the playground if we start doing Only Fools and Horses isms, because I never. Well, I didn't watch much of it, so I won't be familiar with them. He just stood on that damn duck again, says Trace. Windy tonight, says Paul Smotion. Oh, video title. Why do only Mustard and Boaty work? I like that one. Joe says, Carlos Fandango super wide wheels. What a kind offer. I assumed he was joking. If he's serious, then it's an incredibly kind offer and one which I would very definitely take him up on. Ram is misinformed on the impact of phone contracts on your credit file and buy-to-let mortgages, says Cheeseburger. Well, you try explaining that to him with the language barrier. I always wondered what Paul edits on, said Joe. Well, Joe, he does it all on his phone, and God only knows how. Now, we joke about things and we take the piss out of each other, but I mean, it's undeniable that Mustard's editing is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It's quirky and it's different. And even if I had the skills, it's not something that I would do. But it's undeniably brilliant, and the viewer, oh God. And his viewers love it. It's what makes his channel what it is. Now, I actually pride myself on my editing. I put a lot of effort into editing. I spend hours and hours and hours doing it. And I can spend 20 minutes editing a 2-second segment. I put a little pinch of that. It's nothing like what I often do, but I put a little pinch of it into in today's daily diary, or the one that went out today to channel members. And I can obsess over a few seconds. And there are bits of editing that I've done that I'm really, really proud of. And there are some videos that I've done that I've edited properly, and they've come together so well that I'm genuinely really, really proud of them. And I love syncing in music and footage and so on and so on and so on. But I don't edit like Mustard does. But the point is, how he does all of that on his phone, Joe, is completely beyond me. I struggle doing it on an iPad. I'd love to try doing it on a MacBook. I suspect that I would be able to do possibly much better. Things are so much easier when you've got a mouse than when you're trying to bugger about on a touchscreen with your finger. But yeah, that's the answer, Joe. He does it all on a phone, and I don't know how he does it. I really don't. Then we've got to the gifted memberships, which is really kind. Thank you again, Mark, and well done to Paul Smotion, Carlos Fandango, Super Wide Wheels, richplanet.net, Chaz Brown, and Rob for your merch, says Pingu. Trust me, I'm a reverend. Yeah, that would do. Steve Cole is hearing frogs. Cheeseburger says, ask Ram to buy it as a business asset, offset against tax, and pay him at 20 quid a month. He can take all of it out of your wages if you leave, so you are tied to him for 3 years. Win-win. Well, I did suggest that. I did suggest that, but oh God, it's uh, it's all done very differently than any business that I've ever run. That's the only way I can put that. They work so hard and they earn good money and they make so many mistakes. They think they're being clever, and some of the time they're not. Um, I mean, Bishnu, for example. Oh God! Well, I can't give away too much personal detail, but when I first started working there, Bish had his Audi Q7 thing, whatever it is, the big Audi 4x4. He had that on a personal lease and he was paying a fortune for it, a fortune for it. And most of it, and he was doing a lot of miles in it and he was getting penalized for that. Sorry, I just swallowed and it went down the wrong hole. And then when it came to the end of the lease, he paid a massive balloon to buy the car out, and he's using it all the time for business. He transports the staff in it. He transports stock in it. And I've told him again and again and again that he should be running at least one business car, either on lease or bought outright, so that it can all be written off against tax. It's crazy doing everything in a personal vehicle. Aside from the fact that he's flogging to work and back, bringing staff who don't drive on a daily basis in a car that the tires, if I remember correctly, he said the tires are £850 each. Each! And he's wasting them doing that. And he's doing it all on a personal car. It's crazy. I've told him a million times that, I said, look, buy an S-Max, buy a Ford S-Max, buy a lease. If you don't want a lease, buy one. I'll get you a Ford S-Max. Just bang out £5,000 on a banger S-Max. You can use it as staff transport, 7-seater. You can fold the seats down. It's a one-hand job in an S-Max. And you can transport all of the stock. You can go to the warehouse. You can do whatever you want to do. Keep your own car for personal use for weekends, so you've got a nice car. And I said, upgrade it. But you've got so much money. I showed him adverts. I told him to go out and buy a Bentley. I told him to go out and buy a Bentley convertible for him and his wife and just have a cheap S-Max doing Bangonomics as the work vehicle. You could even decal it up down the sides with the restaurant things. Little sign on the back, no curries are left in this vehicle overnight. But, oh, crazy. But, oh, God, don't get me started on the doings of the business. I mean, you can't. The thing is, I can't stand there and lecture them on anything to do with money when they're rich and I'm poor, because it just looks absolutely ridiculous. So I know that they're making some mistakes. Other things they're doing amazingly well. But the bottom line is they're all incredibly rich. And I can't get credit for a £19 a month MacBook. So who's right and who's wrong? A computer shop, says John, could put a solid state hard disk and maybe more memory into your laptop and speed it right up, assuming it doesn't have one already. I really don't think it'd be worth doing, John. It was, if memory serves, it was a laptop that was the cheapest one in the shop. I think it cost £199, something like that. And that was, God, how long ago? 8 years? 9 years? I very much doubt that a 9-year-old bottom of the range laptop is worth investing any money into. And quite apart from that, it's a Windows thing, so I can't combine it with any of my Apple-y doodahs. Chaz Brown says, Mark, many thanks, appreciated. That's a channel membership. Paul Smolson says, what a kind chap Mark is. My hat is off to you. Oh, Sophie's here. Hi, everyone. Hope you're well. Joe says to John, sometimes it's not worth spending pounds on an old device. Pingu says, cake. Cake will be available to channel members. You just need to come here or go somewhere. Hi, Boaty. How are you? How's your day been? It's been great, Soph. Hope yours has been good too. Mark says to everybody, you're very welcome. Thank you again, Mark. You're looking smart, Boaty, says Sophie. Cheeseburger says, your jacket fits better than mine, only because I was sucking my stomach in, Cheesy. Isn't there already a non-functioning 75 Tourer diesel in the yard that is potentially usable stroke drivable? Asks John. And yes, there is, but no, there isn't. There is still a 75 Tourer in the yard. It is sold and it is not drivable. It has been sold to somebody who's going to hopefully make it drivable, and they will be putting it on a trailer or a transporter of some sort and driving it away. It was beyond our ability to, well, it was beyond Mustard's ability. I don't have ability. We couldn't get it sorted. So Neil says, if that 75 hasn't sold yet, I'd cannibalize it for parts to make Fred nice. Yeah, well, it has sold, Neil, but oh, God. Okay, this has got to be just between us, right? You can't tell anybody or say anything. When Mustard rang me and was telling me about Fred the Shed, he said that the parcel shelf was missing. And I said, hasn't the other 75 Tourer got a parcel shelf in it? He said, yeah, it has. I said, nick it. They won't know. They won't notice. They bought it for less than scrap money anyway. And he laughed, and that was that. But then when I watched the video today, lo and behold, in the video, Fred the Shed has got a parcel shelf in him. So I suspect that there has been some shenanigans going on there. Oh, dear. I'd have the bloody roof lining as well. Oh, that would be pushing it a bit. Cigarettes of choice and wine of choice, says Mark. Gosh, well, choice. Well, if money was no option, then my cigarettes of choice would be, I don't know what they call them now. I've not been able to buy any for so long. They used to be called, well, my cigarettes of choice are what used to be called Marlboro Light. I think they're called Marlboro Gold now. And particularly my favorites, the ones I always used to smoke, were Marlboro Light 100s, I think they were called. In other words, or I think they're Marlboro Gold now. In other words, the longer ones, some call them Super Kings. I'm sure Marlboro called them 100s. Maybe they were 100 millimeters long or something. But they were always my cigarette of choice until I became poor. When I became poor, my cigarette of choice became anything at all. Thank you very much. And indeed, for quite a long time, I couldn't afford cigarettes at all, and I had to smoke roll-ups. And I'm not very good at rolling cigarettes, so that was terrible. I never got anything done because it took me so long to roll a cigarette that all I was doing all day, every day, was rolling bloody fags. So, yeah, those would be cigarettes of choice, whatever they're called now. Marlboro Gold, the longy ones, not a clue. I mean, but that bears no relation to what I actually smoke. I smoke what is cheap. And at the moment, that is these chaps here. Not the most pleasant, but definitely cheap, as in £4 a packet. Wine of choice, again, money is no object, then it would always be Chablis. Um, for choice, Premier Cru. I mean, on special occasions, I'd go up a bit. But yeah, basically it would be Chablis. I love Chablis. A Premier Cru Chablis is a lovely thing. But again, my actual choice of wine on a daily basis is dictated by cost. So, a decent Chablis, you're looking at, well, you're looking at minimum 13 quid, aren't you? Upwards. This is my normal daily splash. Sainsbury's House Suave. Is that because it is an incredibly beautiful, delicate wine that sets all of my sensations racing? No, it's because it's £5 a bottle. Admittedly, thanks to Sainsbury's offer, I am on this stuff for tonight, and I was last night, and I will be tomorrow night, and that's rather good. Excuse me. Have a great everyone. Have a great night, everyone. Staff now says Andrew. Cheeseburger, exactly right. Mark, duty free is his choice too, right? Cheeseburger says headlining. Brewer paid 1k tonight on Wheeler Dealers to have a headlining recovered. Well, I mean, he got robbed then, didn't he? How does it cost £1,000 to do a headlining? Well, I suppose it depends on the car, doesn't it? But now, when I'm less poor, I'll be getting all of my headlinings done, and I'll be having the door cards done on Sir Richard and Lady Morris. In the 45 owners group, there was a post from a guy who does it as a kind of hobby. And somebody else mentioned it. I think they paid 260 quid to have all of their door cards done. Oh, I'd love to have that done. It'll be on the list. Speed limiter is more important than cruise, said Cheeseburger. Well, I wondered about that. I did wonder about that, but a speed limiter is a modern thing, so it's not something that you're going to find on the sort of car that I drive. I have driven with a speed limiter. The Sainsbury's Mercedes work vans, which were automatic, very nice. They had a speed limiter, and it is a brilliant thing. You literally just set your speed limit, and no matter what you do with the accelerator, it won't go any faster than that. You still have control of the throttle. I loved active cruise control on my last Audi. The car would speed up and slow down with traffic. Yeah, I mean, radar cruise is another level. And I agree that in those terms, the speed limiter is more useful, but you can get cruise on an old MG Rover. You're not going to get a speed limiter. That's a more modern thing. So I was talking about stuff that is kind of accessible to me, I suppose. I drink beer, says Cheesy, because there's a physical limit to how much your body will hold. I can get merry, but not incapable on beer. Paddy Scratch says, yes, whiskey has been my weakness in the past, but I only drink occasionally now, just beer or wine. Or Guinness. A load of retracted messages. I enjoyed the editing in tonight's Daily Diary, says Joe. Oh, I'm glad. Merch. Oh, God. Oh, this would get me locked up, Cheeseburger. What are you thinking of? Picture of a schoolgirl and Boaty. Forgive me, Reverend Boaty, because I have sinned. Sod off. I'd be... Yeah, exactly, Jimmy Quinn. Fucking hell, Cheeseburger. I'd be locked up. I'd be Jimmy Savile. What are you thinking of, dear boy? God above. The police would be coming round and raiding my non-existent MacBook for indecent images. I don't have any indecent images, by the way. Well, it depends how you define it, indecent. I have naked pictures of people, but there are people that... There are people that it is entirely appropriate that I should have naked pictures of, or potentially not. Maybe I shouldn't have naked pictures of them now because I'm no longer in a relationship with them, but I do have them and I occasionally look at them. And I occasionally put some of the not totally naked ones on my YouTube thumbnails for purely for shits and giggles. I did it. Which daily diary was it? Oh, Fridays or Saturdays, something like that. I can't even remember the title of the daily diary, but the thumbnail has got a picture of Boo's ass on it. I couldn't resist it. I was just feeling a little bit cheeky. Oh, cheeky. See what I did there? Boo's ass, cheeky. I mean, it's a cracking ass. You can't knock it. Well, actually, I used to quite regularly. So, yeah. So if it's inappropriate for me to still have raunchy pictures of people that I'm no longer intimate with, it's definitely inappropriate that I include them on YouTube thumbnails. Although I know that Boo wouldn't mind. Boo was very proud of her body and she plastered it all over the internet herself. She wouldn't mind in the least me doing it. And I put it next to Mustard doing one of his crouchy down jumpy jumpies. Did any of you notice that? Nobody commented on it. I occasionally put random, incongruous, inappropriate things in a thumbnail just to see if anybody comments on it, and they never do. Either they just don't notice it, or they just think, "Oh yeah, well it's fucking Boaty, isn't it?" I mean, weirdo, par for the course. Oh, supper update. Food today. We haven't done food today, have we? My lunch I had when Ram was in Nepal and Bishnu was cooking. Um, he made something as a staff meal, and I couldn't make head or tail of it. So I just bunged it in the. I said, "Thank you very much. I shall really enjoy this dish," and I bunged it in the freezer and forgot about it. And today I thought, well, let's have a bit of a streamlining in the freezer. I'll have that for lunch. I've got no idea what it is. But I thought I'll bung some chips in and I'll have it with chips. Everything's all right with chips, isn't it? And it didn't go very well, to be honest. Now, you know me, I do not leave food, but those are the leftovers from lunch. There were too many unidentified objects in there that looked weird, tasted weird. Um, Bish said that it was, what they all said actually, that this was a genuine Nepali dish that I wouldn't have tried before. And they were right, I hadn't tried it before, and I hope I never have to try it again. It was a little bit too weird for me, and it had weird things in there that had weird textures and whatnot. But I had it with chips. I, I ate the chips, and it's no longer in my freezer, so that's good. And tonight, I'm sorry for this, Joe and Neil and Soph. It's Momo. I had no Momo last week. I have got a goodly portion of the finest Momo chutney, defrosting nicely. I'll just pop it on the radiator actually to finish the process. I'm very low on Momo stock. Now, this is my newly defrosted Momo drop. And as you can possibly see, I've got 1, 2, 3 chutneys and a handful of Momo. But that's specifically because I was running the freezer down to defrost it because I knew I had a load of incoming Momo coming in because Neil's going to be ordering some. I think he's going to be ordering some for Joe as well. Soph will be wanting some. And I've got news for you guys. Momo news. Momo news. The Momos you had last time were made by Dee. Now, Dee, whose real name I don't know, Dee is called Dee because Dee is what you call an older sister. So if a lady that is older than you, she's not actually older than me, I don't think. Maybe we're about the same. But she was our kitchen porter, and everybody called her Dee. So I called her Dee as well. I was very fond of her, actually. I liked her. And she is the Momo maker in Nottingham for the Nepali community. So everybody buys their Momos from her. A lot of the restaurants buy their Momos from there too. We don't. Our restaurant Momos we make ourselves in-house. And Ram makes his own Momos at home. But all of the Momos that I've supplied to anybody else, they've come from Dee. They're very good. They're very, very good. But Dee is no longer working with us, sadly. It's been about 3 or 4 weeks now. And I said to Ram, I said, can you go to Dee? I'm going to need a lot of Momo very shortly, both for myself and for my friends. Can you go to Dee and order some because she's not coming to the restaurant now? And he said, yeah. And then he said, no, I can't. I will make them for you. I said, yeah, but I need a lot, Ram. Dee does it day in, day out. It's like an industry. I can't. No, I will do it. I will make. Doesn't matter how many. I will do. I will make it, and I will make your chutney. Blah blah blah. So the next momos you have are going to be Ram's momos and they're going to be with the homemade chutney rather than the restaurant chutney. And the chutney is going to be made by Mrs. Ram. And Ram says that her chutney is better than his. I've never tried it, so I'm looking forward to trying it as well. But yes, it's Momo tonight. I'm looking forward to that. Gosh, time is marching on. Let's scroll through some comments in case I've got a bit behind. Paul's editing is fantastic, says Joe. Can't believe he does that on his phone. I tried and gave up. Too fiddly for me. Tablet is easy and the computer is the best. I've never tried it on a computer. I'd like to. Paul Smotion says, night everyone. Some of us have real jobs to do in the morning. We feel that pain. Oh, God. Cheeseburger says, John, he can't take his laptop to PC World for upgrade. Remember what happened to Gary Glitter. Well, I've covered that. There's nothing on there that I get locked up for. God, I've been dreaming of Momo, says Joe. James says, I thought you said mono then, which is how the Beatles left their albums in, and then some chaps did a stereo remix afterwards. Video title, it's a crazy situation, but all I need is cigarettes and alcohol. Oh, that's Oasis, isn't it? Right, I've covered that one. Cheeseburger. I love putting Easter eggs, randoms, in my thumbnail, says Trace. No one has spotted or said anything yet. I saw the Boaty in panties thumbnail, says John. Just waiting for Mustard to wreck a knee doing that hoppy thing across the yard. I genuinely cannot wait to get more Momo, says Neil. God, I've caught up with the comments. Splendid. And it is 5 minutes to time to go. Oh, I can get my breath back now. It's all been a bit of a whiz today. I'm feeling a bit discombobulated because I've been whizzing about and driving through cities and doing other things. which were very nice. She actually talked about moving in, and weird thing, she's been single for ages and she's never lived with anybody. I've been single for a couple of years now and I'm loving it. And the idea of actually living with somebody else for the first time in her case, or again in my case, oh, it's a bit scary. It's a bit scary, isn't it? And she's got a cat. I don't know. Sometimes I miss having a sort of best pal around to just cook for or eat with or bugger about with or whatever. And sometimes I just think how fantastic it is to have all of this space to. Who was I talking to? Who was I talking to? I was talking to Michael, one of our lovely customers, one of our lovely regulars in the restaurant last night. Was it last night? God, it was. It's only Monday, isn't it? Not a lot of meat on Momo, says Jimmy Quinn. Oh, it's Didi, not DD, Jimmy. It's Didi, Didi. It means older sister in Nepali, and she didn't make Momo out of cats. Momo, if you eat Momo in Nepal, they would mostly be buffalo, which I would love to try because I love buffalo meat. In the UK, they're normally, well, they're normally lamb, but in reality, they're normally a blend of lamb and chicken, which is what ours are. Bring her on alive. We need to approve. Not going to happen, guys. Not going to happen. It's the ships that pass in the night thing. Lovely person, absolutely lovely. Mad as a box of bloody frogs, bless her. She'd be brilliant on the live, actually. But yeah, no, it's not that kind of thing. I just one of the people that I've got in my life that I bump into every now and then, and they're lovely, but for whatever reason, it only ever is what it is, and it will probably never be anything more than that. Hey ho. The wine glass was indeed empty, Joe. Don't worry. Replenishments have been added. So it's time to say goodnight, darlings. It's time to say goodnight. Where have these 2 hours gone? I don't know. I think I've told you everything I need to tell you. I think you're up to speed on pretty much everything. I've told you about Stigbert. I was it was wet leg tonight. I've been out in wet leg tonight, had a blast. Bless her. Wet leg's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Wednesday, I'm going to the yard this week for a very short day because oh, it's Mustard's girl's birthday. That's right. So he needs to get home when they get back from school. But I would need to leave to get back to work anyway. The main reason for going on Wednesday is I'm taking Minge Bag for MOT on Wednesday. So keep your fingers crossed for that. But I can, that's Wednesday. We've still got Tuesday to go before then, haven't we? Hopefully, Minge Bag's going to be absolutely fine. And then there will be no more MOTs until January, I think. God, which isn't all that long away now, is it? We can have a girlfriend off. Miss Hubnut versus Cindy. It's with a C, not with an S. It's not that bloody Cindy. Topped it up the second I commented. Sounds like Cindy enjoyed a bit of wet leg. Nice one, Trace. Off to bed, says Trisha, and night all. So, yeah, say good night, everybody. It is that time. It's now 1 minute past. I will. Oh, I've got Momo to look forward to. It's not going to be a super late night tonight, actually. I'm feeling more tired than usual. I'm feeling a bit sort of woozy, bit half tipsy, half woozy, half tired. What's happening tomorrow? Nothing. Tomorrow's going to be a nothing day. I probably won't leave the house much. It's nothing. Chill out, do nothing day. Wednesday's going to be a full-on day, yard and whatnot. Friday's Digbert tires. Tomorrow nothing really penciled in. So, but of course, tomorrow night I will see you all again. I did, Joe. I did see your comment about doing a Sunday weekly fleet update, and I think I commented on it. It's it's a good idea. Actually, it is a good idea, especially as things are now happening. There was a period where nothing really happened, and the fleet were just sitting down there. Stigbert was having nothing done, but now things are kind of moving on all of them, and they're all up and running, aren't they? They're all MOT'd at the moment. They're all legal. They're all fine. Relatively fine. I should do more fleet stuff, and I should do a weekly update. I did say it was a good chat, Joe, and it would be a good thing to do, a jolly good idea. Funny life, Boaty. Thank you. Yeah, all best wishes to John before we all go tonight. Let's hope that they can. Let's hope that they can get things sorted. Bless him. Brilliant live, Boaty. Thoughts with John for the morning. Absolutely. Cheeseburger. John has pinged me and said that he'll update me as soon as it's done, and then as soon as he gets any actual results or suggestions or further courses of action. So obviously I'll let you know as soon as possible. But we'll all be here again 11 o'clock tomorrow night, won't we? No, there isn't an old condom on the table. God, can't remember when I last used one of those things. Like taking a bath in your Wellington boots. Well, I mean, no, of course, safe sex is very important, and if you're with an unknown quantity, of course, you should take precautions. Oh, bloody hell, cheeseburger! Right, that's it. I'm off. When we're getting comments like, all right, darlings, thank you so much for your company tonight. Massive thanks to Mark for those 5 gifted memberships. It makes such a difference, you know. It does make such a difference. Like we were talking about that that MacBook thing, 19 quid a month, right? Now, the things like the channel memberships and the super chats, you won't believe how much difference they make. I don't do massive amounts of ad revenue at the moment. It's growing, as these things do, but it is still relatively tiny. So the majority of such income as there is from YouTube, it comes from you guys and your generosity. So to give you an idea, I had a really good month last month. And the payments like go a month behind. So last month, on or around the 23rd of, so that was the 23rd of October, I was paid for September. And in September, there were lots of channel memberships gifted, super chats and things. So in September, I got, so September's money that I got paid in October was 180 something pounds, which is amazing. And this month, half that. So I'm not complaining. I'm incredibly grateful to get anything at all. I'm just letting you know I'm grateful and thankful and letting you know how much of a difference it really makes, because half of that or double of that. So the difference between 90 quid and 180 quid is 90 quid. And 90 quid a month, that pays for so much stuff. 90 quid a month, especially on the Never Never, that covers a MacBook, tires for Stigba, that's 40. And that still leaves 50 quid to play with. So when you guys are so generous, just please know that it makes a genuine difference to my life. It's not like, I mean, I don't want to speak for any other YouTubers, and their financial situation is none of my business. But I imagine that some people have a relatively comfortable income from their ad revenue and their sponsorships and so on and so on and so on. So when somebody's kind enough to gift some channel memberships, it's oh, that's lovely, thank you very much. But it doesn't really make a difference to them. It makes a massive difference to me. The reason that I could look at that MacBook and think I can afford 19 quid a month is because of things like Mark did tonight, and others of you have been kind enough to do those channel memberships, and that extra 90 quid a month coming from YouTube. That's what, obviously, when it comes to paying bills and repaying debts from the accident time and all of that, and there are some big debts. I managed to get 3,000 quid in debt on my electricity bill, believe it or not. Don't panic. It's all, there's a plan in place. It's all been sorted. But obviously I have to budget using my actual income when it comes to paying stuff off and paying rent and paying bills. And so when something like, I don't count YouTube money as income, it's extra. So when I suddenly have a brilliant month and I get 180 quid instead of 80 or 90 quid, then that's fantastic, because that means that I can do all of these other things. So I'm not whinging in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying I'm so grateful, and I'm just trying to show you what a difference it genuinely makes to me. So, so I hope that when you do something lovely, I hope you realise what a difference it makes to me, and just how incredibly grateful I am. And now I'll shut up. Oh, and you lot are still going on about condoms. Oh dear. Right, that is it, darlings. Thank you so much for your company. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read it. You can bang on about the Welsh and condoms and sheep guts and all of that. Probably based on truth. Okay, darlings, thank you very much indeed for your company. It means the world to me. I've loved these couple of hours. Thank you for giving me your time. I hope you have a safe and peaceful night. Stay safe, stay warm. Oh, gas. Bloody hell. Oh. I'm okay. £6.97 overdrawn, but you get a £10 overdraft limit on your gas pay as you go. So I'm okay. I was panicking that it was about to run out. I've got £3.07 left. That's loads. Oh God, it's brilliant living on the edge. So have the best day that you can tomorrow. Take great care of yourselves, and please join me again tomorrow night. Same time, same place. Different time, same place. 11 o'clock tomorrow, Tuesday Night Live. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really not Jimmy. I'm really not. I'm going to eat my momo. Well, I'm going to cook my momo, eat my momo, and just wobble up to bed and fall straight asleep. Much love from me, darlings. I'll see you tomorrow. Sleep tight.